All right, let's see. Check, check, check. Check 1, 2. Is this thing on? Is this thing working? We've got a totally new setup today. Oh my goodness. And it's just, it's going to be so much fun because it's fraught with explosions. What can I say? It's fraught with things that will not go well. I guess. I don't know. All right, how can I get a picture there that doesn't take up the whole screen? Because a full screen will take up the full screen. But I just need to put an output up there that doesn't take up the whole screen. Let's see, can we refresh that page? Yeah, okay. So, let's see right here. There we go. All right, so that's working. Thank you, John O. That's working. And audio appears to be working. Is this thing on? Video appears to be working. The stream appears to be going somewhere. Let's see. Let's take that one out of the way and pull that one over there. There we go. Now we've got some ability. And let's change it. I'm looking at that big screen TV here in the studio that I'm using as my second monitor. And it's right behind my, well, it's almost right behind my camera. So if I look at the chat, it appears I'm looking at you. But if I look over at the YouTube window to see what's going on in YouTube, I turn my eyes away. Yeah. And let me make one adjustment to the lighting. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Let's see if that creates a shadow or eliminates a shadow. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. I'm trying a different chair today, and what I found out is, let's see. Yeah, when I rock back, it doesn't squeak. So this is going to be my new show chair, and the camera needs to come down just a smidgen. Let's see, where are the camera controls? Here are the camera controls. There we go, I think. Yep. Oh, and no sunglasses. You can see all the attention I put into preparing myself for a show. All right, that's not bad. The pictures is at least not behind me. And I think when we go full screen, it'll be okay. We do need to adjust the camera just a tad more. Let's see if we can do this. Nope, wrong way. I've got the grid lines set up, and so that, you know, there's a grid that goes right down there. Yeah, well, it almost goes right down there. All right. All right, let's see how we're doing here. We're doing better. We're doing better. And we've got 7 minutes left. Good, 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 good. Oh, let's set up one more camera. Shall we? Yeah, we should. If we've got, do we have an RJ45 that's not being used? I mean, an internet connection? We do. Right there. Notice the pink stripe on it, so I know which one it's attached to. I could put a label on it. That would be even better. It would tell me. That good? That's going to be good. That's going to be good. That way you can kind of look over my shoulder and see that I'm really doing what I'm saying I'm doing. Where is that NDI camera? NDI PTZ. That should be it right there. and it is it's resetting. There we go. Okay, now we're pointing the right direction. Now we're pointing the right direction. I wonder if it got a new IP address. It doesn't seem to be telling us its IP address. Well, we'll have to, oh, hold it, there it is. 87, 87, yep, that's right there, okay. Well, we'll give it a second. Yeah, there it is. All right, good, 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 good. We'll connect to it, and boom, okay. There we go. So that's the studio today. You can see I'm right out of the picture. But there's the vMix Go camera, the PTZ Optics Move 4K 12X, big screen TV, light. All of this coming through our Bird Dog P120, which has been orphaned, but that's okay. That's okay. We need orphans. All right, so that is that's the current setup, and we'll probably go through that again. All right, Jono says he's got a unique problem in his new house. He moved to Tennessee and they didn't install any Ethernet, only coax. Huh. I found a TrendNet unit that, okay, and you have to give me the rest of the story because there are not enough characters there. But we're good with that. And John is here. Welcome, sir. Glad to hear you. From the Caribbean Christian Broadcasting Network. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Here we go. And this is the rest of John's story. So it goes from Ethernet to coax and then back again. Ooh, fraught with possibilities for failure. At least, yeah. Like to live dangerously. You're going to try it this weekend and do a live stream of something really important at the same time, I hope. Okay, let's see. What else have we got going here? Hello, Kim. Kim. You probably don't pronounce it like that. Not from the southern United States. Welcome. Welcome from Sweden. Glad to have you. Blidvisk. Help me on the pronunciation there. It's probably more of a Kim than it is a Kim. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, it's not okay if it's not funny to you, but I have a strange sense of humor. So, new PC today, new software today, and yeah. What's Ken have to say for himself? Oh, he's got too many characters too. How do you set your inputs if you have too many? For example, I have 5 inputs that relate to one point I'm making in my show. Well, give me the rest of the story. That's what we want, is the rest of the story. The rest of the story. Hello, Jesper. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Somebody asked me the other day, said, Tom, when do you start your live stream? About, a minute before you go? I was like, no. Start the stream 30 minutes early because I want to let YouTube get used to what we're sending and all that kind of stuff. And plus, if you are a subscriber to the show, the Streaming Idiot Show on YouTube, you'll get a notification if you've got that notification bell thing on. So yeah, that's the story. And Kim is making good use of the vMix emojis, and apparently I did okay with the pronunciation on his name, Kim Blidvisk. Blidvisk. It's funny how Americans pronounce things. Pronounce things, yes, pronounce things. Okay, so here the temptation is for me to look at the screen in front of me, which is not looking at the camera in front of me, which is right behind, right in front of, shall I say, the chat on vMix Social. But what I need is, I need a photo of, it's reassuring for me to see a photo of me making eye contact. And if I do a full screen, it wipes out the whole thing. I mean, again, here's my setup. So you can see, you know, there's the vMix Social chat kind of on the left, and there's the YouTube on the right, which of course is way behind, probably, I don't know, 2-3 minutes, something like that. Anyway, so let's go back here, and Ken says, I don't seem to have enough room on my screen to see all the inputs at once, so I was wondering if I group them in several lists. Ah, okay. Well, Ken, let me zoom in on my screen and let you see, or would I be better off using tabs? Tabs works. Tabs works. It also works to minimize the ones you're not doing. So let me go over to this screen for a second, and we'll zoom in on my screen. I mean, that's, well, I can show you a desktop capture. Let's do desktop capture. That's probably easier. Desktop capture. Boom. That is what I am doing right there. So I've got all my inputs across the bottom. See the cursor down there. And today we're running 88 inputs. Now, not all of them are needed. Some of them are graphics and things like that. So, but the things that I think I'm going to be in and out of pretty quickly, I've got up here kind of on the top row. I've also got a tab. You see it? I've got a lot of tabs that I can go to that just tell me, for example, in a minute when it comes time for the intro, I'm just going to pull up the 4 intros. If I'm doing post-show, I've got just my post-show stuff. But for the moment, I've got everything up there, and it's in numerical order. And part of the reason I did it like this is because the first 8 inputs I can put into a multi-view, right there, multi-view. But it takes the whole screen, and I don't want the whole screen. Well, let me show you what happens. So there we go. So the whole screen goes to that. And that's not what I want. I want to be able to see the chat and see myself and monitor YouTube and just, you know, all the things that I'm used to with 2 monitors plus a big screen. So now I'm down to 1 monitor. I guess I could have pulled one of these other monitors over. I'm not going to do it right now, but yeah, I could have. So Ken, I am not a good one to ask that question to, or maybe I'm the best one because I'm very disorganized in that sense. But I also know that I'm not going to be looking at at least I don't want to be looking at my inputs. I want to be able to have an input go somewhere that it wants to go when I want it to. And the best way to do that is with shortcuts. And you can even do that with a regular keyboard. Where am I? I need to go back here. There we go. You can do that with a regular keyboard and just make up shortcuts for your number keys, and then just keep your fingers on your number keys, and you've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so, and this particular keyboard has got a little bit of a not an indentation, but an exdentation right here to tell me where the 5 is, so I can feel it. And the same is great with X keys and Stream Deck. So there are lots of different ways, and that way you don't even have to worry about seeing your inputs unless you have to see them. And in my case, I like having the ability to see what's going on. And so I want to have something in front of me that I can see everything that's going on, and so I don't have to look here. And by having that right behind the camera, it allows me to keep good eye contact with you. Yes, even though I'm looking at your, actually I'm looking up at, yeah, I need to drop the TV down a little bit, but that's okay. It's in a good spot. All right, let's get the show on the road. Good questions. Good questions. So we'll get the intro out, and and we're ready to go. This might work. It might not, but it might. Ta-da! Need to have a ta-da. I like a ta-da. I do have a ta-da, but I don't have it on my, where I can find it easily at the moment. So there we go. So welcome to Streaming Idiots. Welcome to the edge of the internet. You can look over the edge from here, because there's not much more obscure than this little show right here, Streaming Idiots. It is. To tell you how obscure we are, this is the longest continually running live streaming show about live streaming in the galaxy, the universe. I don't think there are any others that have made it this far. And you say, Tom, are you running out of subjects? Some days I feel like I am, but like today I'm really excited because we're doing something different. Part of it is out of my control. vMix is running out. vMix beta 28.0.0.20, which we're using right now. And they say don't ever use a beta for production. It's the first thing I want to do, because I want to see how it does, and I want you to see how it does, so that you can determine whether or not you want to experiment with it. The other thing is I'm using a untested PC. This is my new vMix Go upgraded. Now originally the vMix Go was sold in the 2012, maybe 2011, 2013, somewhere in that era. It wasn't sold a long time, and it was frightfully expensive. I think in the day it was $12,000–$15,000. They still make them today, but they're not branded vMix Go's. They're made by a company called Acme Portable out in California somewhere, and I think they go by a couple of different brands. Anyway, we've got one of the originals, which I wanted just as a memento, but it had an i7, I think a 4070 or a 4770, something like that. Anyway, a 4th generation i7 chip in it, and it had a graphics card when it was originally built. By the time I got it, the graphics card had been stripped out, as had the AGA 4-port, I guess it was a 4-port capture card, which was worth like $2,600 brand new. Anyway, I picked this up for $1,000, put a new motherboard in it, an i9 processor, a GTX 4060, so that we can do AV1, AV1 codec, which means we can stream at half of our normal streaming rate. Today we're streaming 1080p 60 at 8 megabits per second. Never ever could have done that before. And at this point, vMix is the only one that's doing it on the streaming end that I know of, and YouTube is the only one that's doing it on the receiving end. I know there are a lot of folks like Netflix are using it when they're dishing out their video, because they can do it and use half the amount of bandwidth. But we haven't found any other CDNs that will allow you to stream to them using AV1. Although that's probably coming. There's a bandwidth savings, and so for those of you that are in, bandwidth restricted situations, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. Yep. So let me show off the system a little bit. I've already showed it off some, but let's show it off some more. This is the current rig today. Let me get that graphic out of the way. And this is the vMix Go. I don't know if you can see the logo right there, vMix Go. It's still got the Powered by Aja sticker on it. I think I'll probably leave that on there, but I'm not sure. And just a portable keyboard, a wireless keyboard, wireless mouse. in the USB ports over on the side. We're using our Hollyland mic setup. There's the receiver right there, plugged in by USB-C. That's all there is. The cameras are NDI, so we're not using any capture cards at the moment. I've got my PTZ Optics Move 4K 12x. Yeah, that's right. Which is my main shot. The shot that you're seeing right here is from my older Bird Dog P120, which is now orphaned, but it's a great little camera. I like it here for the studio. So I've got a 12x and a 20x, and I've got some other cameras around, but I'm not using them right now. I think there's an overhead cam around in here somewhere, but I don't see it easily. So yeah. So on the big screen up there, I've got the vMix social chat on the left side, and then on the right side you can see every now and then that image will change. That's the YouTube feed, and that's for some reason it got delayed, so it's behind, a minute or two, maybe. And let's see, we can we can go over and we can interact with it and scroll through it. Well, I say we can scroll through it. Let's try it. Can we scroll through here? No. Maybe that's all we've got. What about here? Can we scroll through that? No, we don't have enough information up yet. That's okay. That's all right. Let's see. What if we go full screen with that? We can see the viewers. So I keep an eye on you guys, whether you're paying attention, whether you showed up late, that kind of thing. But it's all good. It also lets me know when your attentions are waning. I can't see when you go to, whoa, look out. Well, I've turned that off. I can't see when you go to the refrigerator to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I can see when you turn your system off. So there we go. So that's the hardware setup. The software setup, of course, is vMix 28, which we took a look at last week, and the vMix Funtime live show featuring Tim and Heath is tonight. It's Wednesday night. I think it's 7 o'clock Central Time, so maybe 8 o'clock Eastern. If you're in Australia, it's like 10 a.m. So they're not, I don't even think they're awake now. They're just, they're getting their morning coffee, or they went out for their morning run if they're early people. The vMix 28, I like it. And what's interesting to me about it, as compared to other vMix betas, is that this beta got released pretty early in the process. I mean, this is a .20, and I think they've only had maybe one. I think the original, let's see if I can look it up here without getting into any trouble. Let's go to vMix, forums, and there's a whole forum set up for betas called Beta Discussion. And yeah, .19 was the very first one, so we're up to .20, which had, less than half a dozen bug fixes. And there haven't been any other reported bugs. If there have been, they're working on them, and they haven't been able to they haven't published a fix for them yet. But what that tells me is that, once again, a vMix beta is as good as some other software's final release version. Really, really pleased with that long term. The quality in vMix is there. The support is there. I find the support to be very responsive. If you're doing it right, if you're doing it wrong, you're probably not getting responded to as well as you could be. Make sure you send an error report. That's in vMix. There's a button in vMix on the if you go to settings and go to the About tab, there's a button there to send an error report. Then you follow up the error report with your license key and of course your email, and they'll get back to you pretty darn quickly. Most of the time, 99% of the time it's user error, but that's okay. That's why tech support is there, to help guide you through that kind of stuff. But occasionally there'll be a problem that's really, really a problem, and they may have to go back and forth with you a couple times to dig in. And a lot of times the very first response from them is to give you the most common solutions to the problem that you're suggesting. They don't necessarily, I mean, it's not like they're sitting in front of your PC and they get to see it like that. I was working with somebody this morning that's having a strange problem. You know, I logged into their system and I can see the problem, but I'm going to have to dig deeper to find out what the problem is. I mean, I can see the symptom, let's put it that way, but I have to dig deeper to find the problem. So I'm working on that on their end, and we'll get back to them. And I've actually reached out to vMix Tech Support myself, yeah, we'll see what we see. Ken says he's in Aussie, and it's a lovely spring day down there. We're at 6:15 in the morning. Oh, it's 6:15 where Tim is, 6:13 where Tim is, and 7:12 where he is. All right, I'm lost on that one. We'll catch back up with Ken in the chat here in the post show. But if you were thinking about, you know, should I use a beta? Well, first of all, you should test it. Download it. You can install it right over your current version. Well, let me back up on that one. vMix allows users of vMix to have free updates to whatever the latest, greatest version of vMix is for a year from the date of purchase. And sometimes they'll fudge on that. I think during COVID they were extending that out maybe a year, and now that that's over, it's back to normal. And so you've got a year to get your updates. After that time, you can continue to use vMix, and it'll be just as good as it ever was. But you won't have the advantage of getting the latest, greatest stuff, bug fixes and major releases when they happen. But for $60 US, you can buy a whole nother year of updates. So let's say you've got version 24 and you want to take a look at version 28. You're not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to update your license. Even if you want to stay with version 24 in the future, you're going to have to update your license in order to be able to take a look at version 28. Now, my guess is the vMix Funtime live show tonight is going to give you a good look at version 28 and all the things that after I did my review of it last week, they're going to say, okay, no, what Tom says, it's not the way to do it, not the way to do it. And so make sure you pay attention to that. And that's just the vMix YouTube channel. Now, let me tell you one thing about the vMix Funtime live show while we're talking about it. You want to watch it live if you can, because they have a pre-show like we do and a post-show like we do, except once the live show is off, they'll kill that recording and they'll upload just the show from the beginning to the end, not including the pre-show or the post-show. So a lot of times the pre-show is where the funny chat happens, and the post-show is where a lot of additional questions and just general conversations go on. And it's kind of a peek behind the scenes at vMix. So highly encourage you to do that. You could even use, hey Otis, glad you're here. Hey Jan, glad you're here. Yes, Miss Sinclair is very happy for the birthday. She is, she's taking me out to dinner tonight. You can do what I do, which is go ahead and start my YouTube vMix Funtime live show. And then if I have to do something, I'll pause it, even while it's in pre-show. And like tonight, Sandy said, you know, why don't we stay home and watch the pre-show, the vMix Funtime live show? She said, I know you like that. I said, sweetheart, it's your birthday. If you want me to do that for your birthday, you are some kind of wife. But I'm not going to allow you to do that. So we're not going to do that. But I want to watch the pre-show and the post-show. So I'll go ahead and get it started, and then I'll pause it. And I think that recording is good until I leave that page. So I can come back several hours later and watch the whole show in its entirety, pre-show, post-show. But once I click off that page, I can't go back to it and find it because it won't exist. But somehow I've kind of gained the rights to do that. I think there was one time where it didn't appear to work like that, but the last couple of times it has. So anyway, so there you go. My tip on how to watch the vMix Funtime live show. The beta, last week we looked at the telestrator. We also looked at, let's see, what else did we look at? We looked at the, we didn't look at much, did we? We looked at the audio inputs where you can get actually the Windows audio and come in as its own audio input. And we looked at flattening layers. But there are other things that you'll probably see tonight where they're doing the playback time triggers and the support for overlay, additional support for overlays and stingers, and the GT anchor setting. Frankly, I couldn't figure out what the GT anchor setting was and why that was important. But we'll tune in tonight and maybe we can see. And also, I think last week we showed that we could stream to up to 5 different destinations, assuming we have the bandwidth. Oh, I know something else that's kind of interesting, and let me show it to you. And we may have talked about it last week, but I want to show it to you again. And that's down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Well, let's check this first and make sure we've got sharpen is on. Okay, there we go. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, this little bar graph is statistics. And we can see how all our different inputs are doing. The Move 4K has dropped 211 frames. The renderer has dropped 3,000 frames. I bet you haven't noticed a single one. The P120 camera has dropped 6,455 frames, but you probably didn't notice that either because we're not on that camera very much. And then the Bird Dog down here at the bottom is the overhead camera, which is on a Bird Dog Studio, and it's dropped 187 frames. So that's pretty good on that one. But we also have a third category. Let's drag this up here so it's not so confusing. We have a third category called encoders. And we can see of the different things that are using an encoder, how they're doing, and how many encoders we're using. Because remember, with NVIDIA, we have, what is it, are we up to 5 now that we're allowed? And we can see that I've got an NDI that is going out to output 2, which apparently is taking 1. I've got a video call going out to output 3. Oh no, those are the sources. Okay. Anyway, we can see what our encoders are. And we've got one going right now for encoding, for recording, which is at 30 frames a second. Why are we doing it 30 frames a second? That's crazy. And then stream 1 is AV1 hardware. And then the others are actually not even in use. So let's refresh it and see if that makes any difference. Nope, still the same. Still the same, still the same. Yep. And Jan is saying in the chat that frame drops can happen if not enough is changed to make a new frame. And I believe that. I believe that. And you know, this shot right here, excuse me, not that shot, but this shot right here may not appear to change, or we've just got a few little frames that are changing in here. And maybe that's not enough to warrant, and like this right here, if I close my mouth for a second, there's 30 frames that don't have to get sent. So there we go. So why is the recording only 30? Can I see what the information is on that? Because we're only recording it at 30 frames. Okay. The other thing that I did interesting today, hello Chris, welcome, glad you're here. Hello Gunnar, glad you're here. Is as I set up this new PC, It already had vMix on it because I put it on there. And I connected it up to the TV, and of course all the cameras are NDI, so as soon as I connected to the network, it was NDI, and I had to connect up my microphone here, USB-C, and throw some lights. But it really was a pretty simple setup, and the simplest part about it was I took a vMix bundle from my production PC. I basically said save as, and then I made it a bundle. So it included all of my graphics and all of everything that I use regularly, including videos, and smashed it into a vMix zip file, put it on a thumb drive, plugged it in, and brought it in, and then saved it because I didn't want to run it off a thumb drive. And then I've updated it since then. But everything, sorry about that, everything showed up. I'm thinking, did everything? Yep. Even the Hollyland mic system showed up because vMix didn't know what USB port it was plugged into. I mean, well, it is plugged to USB-C, and on the other system it's plugged to USB-C too, so maybe that's all the direction vMix needed in order to find it. And I think everything else was either NDI or was a picture, an image, or a video that was part of the bundle. So yeah, so bundling worked very nicely for me. I probably started setting this up. It's 2:25 right now in the afternoon on Wednesday, and I probably started setting this up at 12:30, so maybe 2 hours ago. And I started the show, or at least I started the live stream about 1:40 maybe. So maybe it took an hour and 10 minutes to throw all this together, including moving cameras and lights and everything else, because I had the bundle. That was the key. I didn't have to recreate the whole production. And the thought just occurred to me. I get a lot of folks that call up because somebody's been messing with their system. They may have more than one user, and somebody poisoned their presets. And I'd say, save a bundle. Every week, go ahead and save a bundle and just hide it somewhere on your system, or put it on a thumb drive. And that way you've got a backup to any other backups that you have. And Jan is getting a mouse as a present. Just thought I'd throw that in. It's there in the chat. It's there in the chat. You can read it in the chat. It was 2 minutes ago. So, big thumbs up to version 28. Big thumbs up to upgraded vMix Go. Somebody asked me the other day, said, have you ever used Wirecast? I said, I'd used Wirecast about 10 years ago for about 6 months, and then vMix kind of showed up on my radar, and pow, I was sold. Actually, vMix showed up on my radar in like 2011 or 2012, and I took a look at it, and I couldn't intuitively figure out how to use it. And so I pushed it aside for a time when I would have more time. You have projects like that too. And I never had time. And then somebody called and said, hey, Tom, I want you to build me a system. I want you to put vMix on it. And I said, sure, no problem. And said, I'm going to have to learn how to use vMix. And it wasn't as hard to learn as I thought it would be. Most of the time, things aren't. And it opened up a whole world of possibilities. So hat tip to Martin Sinclair, my distant cousin, I'm convinced, and to Tim and Heath and the rest of the vMix team. Yeah, there we go. So let's wrap this up. We'll go into the post show, and we'll be right back. If we can find the right button to push. Actually, we don't have any buttons. right now, so we'll just have to do this. Well, okay. KMR, if you want to, you can just take that little cursor thing and just drag it all the way back to the beginning of the show, or you can wait until afterwards and go back and watch it. Yeah. At least you're here for the post show. That's right. That's right. So what did I miss here? All right, Ken was keeping us up to date here. We were talking about the vMix Fun Time live show and how the vMix folks were probably asleep right now. And he said, actually, I thought it was 5 o'clock. He said it was more like 6:15, where Tim is in QLD, which I think is at Queensland, and 7:12, 7 o'clock, where Ken is down under. So there you go. So let's see. We got some howdies. We have a happy birthday wish. Another howdy. Another howdy. And Jan, when we were talking about statistics, he was sharing about frame drops. And another howdy. And there's the mouse. Cute little mouse. Yeah, cute until he starts chewing off the insulation on the wires inside your PC to make a nest out of them. So, a word of caution on that. I haven't ever opened one like that, but I've heard of it. I've definitely heard of it. So tell me, have any of you guys updated to version 28? What was your experience? Did you like it? Were you updating for a particular feature like the telestrator? Or were you just updating to take a look at it? And if you're watching this after the fact, would love to have those comments in the comments too on YouTube, so folks can share and kind of keep up with what's going on. Keep up with what's going on. That's what I meant to say, yes. So we've got our first volunteer. John said that he did. Congratulations, sir. Yes, indeed. KMR ran his 28 on a non-essential service yesterday for the Starship launch broadcast. It only crashed on me twice. It crashed? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I hope you reported it. Is it something you can identify what you were doing that caused it to crash? If it crashed more than once, was it the same thing that made it crash? And please report that ASAP. Crashed with no logs, he says. Huh. Now that would be vMix logs. Now you know there's a Windows log system that can tell you sometimes too. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes, not always. The only anomaly I've had with vMix 28 was using the telestrator and having the telestrator drawing color change on me for no apparent reason. Yep. Went through the Windows logs, didn't see anything there. Okay, I got it. Using it in your productions, John. I like it. He's a brother in more than one way. All right, and we have a question here. Maybe we can help. Technic, welcome Technic, glad you're here. Texting from India. Can you explain about NTSC video format and PAL and which one is good for live streaming? Ah, great question. Great question. Yeah, it's it's not whether they're good or bad, it's whether they're right or wrong. Isn't that nice? Because good and bad are sort of subjective, but right and wrong are absolute. It depends on your electrical grid. My electrical grid runs on 60 cycles, which is why we use 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second, which is NTSC. In Europe, I think Japan uses 60 cycles too. I know in Europe they're using 50 cycles, which is why they're using 25 frames a second or 60 frames a second, which is PAL. I don't know does anyone know what India uses? We could look it up. It should be pretty easy. You know, what is the India? Let's look up. India power cycles. And it may be different in different parts. Okay, let's see. India uses 50 hertz, so you got to use PAL. So there we go. That's the answer to the question. PAL is and you want to make sure your cameras are set for PAL too. So you want to be streaming either at 25 or 50 frames a second. Yeah, there you go. Chris said, to be honest, I did not know, so of value in checking out your show, Tom. Oh, about the version 28. Yeah, good. Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. Chris says, we were using the telestrator. I wonder if it had anything to do with it. Oh, no, that's KMR. Well, probably. Probably. You know, I hear from people that vMix crashes from them, and I haven't had a vMix crash here in the studio in years. Now, I'm not switching lots of cameras. I'm not doing a multi-quarter ISO recording. I'm typically not doing replay. So I'm not doing the things that really stress a PC. I mean, like right now, the PC is got a render time of 3 milliseconds. The CPU for vMix is 6, and the total CPU is 7. So we ain't pressing this guy at all, but we built him to press. And I used Telestrator last week and didn't have a problem with it. Let's see if we can fire it up here real quickly. So if I go away, you know something happened. Okay, so I've got to enable Telestrator and web controller. I may have to reboot in order to do that. Let's see, web controller, Telestrator. Can I do this without a reboot? Yes, I can. Okay. All right, so let's reset the Telestrator. There we go. And the Telestrator is actually set, or can be set, on this shot right here. So let's go here and there. So that's the Telestrator shot, camera shot. And I guess I need to pop up a Telestrator window here. So let's go to Chrome. 192, vMix shortcuts, Telestrator. Yeah, there I am. And can we make a cycle? Did that show up? Didn't work. Here's my Telestrator screen. It's not showing anything. This should be the screen. Let's see, is there something that we need to do to turn this on? I don't think so. Yeah, Doesn't appear to be working. Let's close that one out and add a new one in and see if that makes a difference. Telestrator, there we go. Click OK. There we go. Let's refresh this page. And we'll clear that off. Let's see, let's just close that page altogether. Yeah, it's not working. It is not working. Is there something I need to do that I'm not doing? I went to, let me show you what I'm doing here. There we go. So I'm going to settings, going to web controller, and I'm initiating Telestrator video source is output 2. Oh, well that probably is the problem. Output 2. Yeah, there probably is not an output 2. So let's go to outputs and set input 1 is output 2. Okay, so that is set there. That's correct. Telestrator there. Telestrator there. Okay, so we're good there. And we'll reload that one. And let's kill that one, and we'll reload this one. So we see drawing on that one, but it's not drawing on me right here. And this is our Telestrator input right there. So there's a problem. Put Telestrator, yeah, it is on as overlay. Let's see, number 88 should be, let me show you what I'm doing again. We've got this right here. So there's the Telestrator number 88 down in the bottom right. And we're doing it on this shot right here. Layers. Oh, it looks like the Telestrator went away. So let's see. But it's still not drawing on the Telestrator. So there we go with Telestrator. Boom. And we'll come back down here, Telestrator. And do we see any telestration action? Let's see. Yeah, we're not seeing it there, but you can see it there. Oh well, there's something I'm doing wrong, no doubt. So, you know, let's change that up to real thick. Well, that's still coming. When we go thicker than that, 24. Yeah, there we go. So let's put everything away. So we got a clean image. Can we do it? Will it go? Yeah, it will, but it's not much help. But the Telestrator down here doesn't pick up anything that I do, and should pick it up and use it as an overlay. And I don't think there's anything else I should have turned on. Oh well. Probably restart the PC and it'll probably come back. So there we go. Oop, that faded out, but that's what we should have seen on that other screen. So yeah. All right, let's see. And latest question. There's another problem. When we use PAL 50i for wireless transmission, shadow coming on the picture. If we use 50p, there's no shadow. Okay, Yeah, the P and the I are interesting, and you definitely want to do some reading on them. KMR, okay, looks like KMR's already answered that question. You don't want to stream interlaced. vMix will de-interlace a camera, but you don't want to stream interlaced unless you're going to a TV station. That's the thing. But Progressive sends a full frame. Interlace divides the frame up into, I don't know, maybe 400 lines or 600 lines or 1,200 lines of little slices of image, and it sends every other one as one frame, and then, you know, maybe all the odd numbered frames, and then it sends all the even numbered slices as a second frame, and they kind of interlock them or interlace them. And then they take out the previous number one frame and bring, the previous odds and bring that in, and then they take out the evens and bring the next evens in. And so it's constantly changing, and it's happened so quickly that it gives the same illusion of movement as a full frame would. And that's the way TV sets were set to operate, in an interlaced format. But monitors, phones, pads, tablets, and things that attach to live streams are not intended to be interlaced. So there. So let's pick up on this telestrator conversation. A bit buggy, I think. Yep. Option on the selection boxes. Got it. Under live LAN. Got it. Put the telestrator on overlay. I didn't have it on overlay, but I had it as a layer. But yeah. Crazy question. Oh, John, I like your question. Are you on the same network? Well, let's see. Yes. Yes. I am on 192. I don't know if you can see that. It won't focus. I'm on 192.168.1.114, which is this PC. Is that this PC? Let's see. Yeah. John may have the answer. Web controller. Yep. John's got it. I'm on the right network, but I'm using the wrong device because this is that computer. So let's go to a different address. John, you're a genius. 192.168.1.96 colon 8088. Whoops. 8088. Just doing it on the phone. And that brings me to another telestrator page that looks just like the other telestrator page. And let's go to that live. It requires a username and password. Let's just ignore that and see what happens. And we're going to start drawing. John, you're a genius. John, you are a genius. I mean, your answer wasn't correct. Your question was not the correct question. But as many of the time, it leads to the correct answer. So yeah, big smiley face for John. Love it. That's what it was. I was simply on, I got a picture. I don't know why I got a picture, because it was on that PC. Don't know. And it drew on the picture, but it was not the right picture. John, you are the man. John is down in the Caribbean, and the only thing they have to worry about is whether it will be sunny enough on any given day, and the occasional hurricane. So Count me happy. There we go. I love it. I love it. Let's see if we can change color. And yeah, we're good. We're good. All right, guys. Well, with that, I'm going to fade out of here. And don't forget to catch the vMix Fun Time live show tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. But don't quote me on that one. I mean, you need to go back and make sure that is correct. Oh my gosh. Kevin was watching video from the other day on XPS in the Caribbean. There you go. Now there needs to be a button in vMix to make all this stuff on the screen go away. Can we do that? What if I reload the page? Didn't make any difference. Didn't make any difference. How about that? But you can see, let's see, where's the, you can see down here in the bottom screen, right there, that is the telestrator with the telestrator text in it, which overlays, because, could we do it as an overlay? We could do it as an overlay. We could do it as an overlay and overlay anything. So I'm going to put it on overlay 4, and now it's going to go there. Yep. So we could overlay it, but I'd rather embed it. That way it's, I've got complete control over it. And let's see, where's my layers? Here we go. There it is right there. Number 9, the telestrator. All right. Let's get all that mess off my face. There we go. There we go. So, John, what did he win? What did he win? You know what you won? You won, this is a big prize. You won the ability to host me and Miss Sandy for a week in the Caribbean. I know you've invited me before. That would be too much fun. Yeah, that's right. Now back to the rest of the show. Well, good job, Kevin. Good job. Good job, John. And thank you all for tuning in. And we will catch you guys. We might catch you next week. We'll have to see. We're going to be on the road, and I'm going to take this machine on the road and see what we can do on the road. I'm not sure what camera I'm going to take. I could use the phone as a camera, but I don't want to. Anyway, we'll work that out. I'll keep you in the loop. Y'all take care.